Here's the parachute Adams. Nice traditional dry fly. Start, of course, with the hook and the vise here. I'm going to put on some black thread. First material we're going to tie on is the parachute post. You can do this in a couple different orders. I like to put the parachute on first sometimes I put it on second, but you like to do it before you get too crazy with the body, just so it's built and out of the way. You can work around it. Take some of this white material here, cut that off, kind of just getting some of the small fibers out. I'm going to put that in my hair stacker here to try to even out the tips and pound that on the desk. And when you pull that out, you should have some even tips. Those didn't come out, so let's try that again. This might be a little tricky to salvage this, but we're going to tap that out. There's the ends. So now I'm just going to rebuild my double piece stacker, put those in. This material's a little short, so it kind of went a little bit farther than the end of the stacker. Turn that around because I want to grab this with my right hand. I have to get it with my left hand. I don't like how that looked. You know what? A lot of those small pieces came out. That's pretty good, I think. So we're going to go with that and grab that and try to control this selection here. And now, I'm just going to cut some of that off the back just to even up the back end of it. We'll cut more of it once it's on the hook. But now we're going to bring that up here and start this post. I want to get that thread back just a little farther from the front of the hook. I'm going to do one wrap around just the material. That sometimes will help it just stay on the top of the hook. Now a couple of nice tight wraps to secure it to the hook. And I'm going to bring it up and start building a barrier up front. This is going to push that material vertical for the parachute post that we're looking for. Just a bunch of wraps here to push that up. Once it's kind of up like that, now we're going to do some wraps around it. Like this, and just build up a base on that parachute there. Building this base and trying to make a pretty good solid base will help when you try to wrap the hackle on it in a few minutes here. Kind of want a good base there to work with, something secure that you can wrap against. Something like that. Now we're going to come in and just give it a little haircut. Now bring that back. We're going to start with the tail. The tail is going to be two different colors. So we're going to pull off a little of each of these feathers. We got some brown. Take some of that off here. Just a couple of fibers. And tie that in as the tail. Kind of match it up here. See how long we want it. Before I do that, I'm going to cut the tip just so it doesn't run into the, not the tip, the butt ends there. Just so it doesn't run into the post when I'm tying it. Shorten up my thread here so I got better control. And then some of the grizzly too is going to go on there. So we'll take off a few fibers of that. Match that up to the length there. Cut off the butt so it doesn't run into the post. Now we're going to do some dubbing. Take some gray dubbing, start building the body out. Remember, get your fingers wet, that'll help twist it on easier. Now we're going to take the hackle feathers, the other ones. I can pick them up off the bench, the brown and the grizzly. I'm just going to even up the ends here, match them up, so I can tie them in at the same time. I'm going to flare out those ends like that. Now I'm going to line them up again. They're not lined up. Okay. And now tie those in right there. I'm going to bring the thread back to the front because that's where we're going to tie it off in a minute. Before I do that though, I'm going to put a little bit more dubbing here just to cover up where I just was. Covering up the thread wraps for that hackle. That's what I'm doing now. So we don't need a lot. We just did a couple of thread wraps right there underneath the parachute. So small amount of dubbing should do it. Just like that. And now we built that post there, so hopefully we can tie nice and tight around it. Just like that. Now we're going to tie these back down onto the hook. A couple of wraps to secure them. I'm going to come in and clean up some of the extra that's coming off the end there. A little head like that. Find my whip finisher buried on the table here. A whip finish head. And there's the parachute atoms.